Hello there, good evening, and you're watching ABC News. This is ABC Prime. I am Eric Chinibuamelo. Coming up in the headlines. The West African Examination Council has released the provisional results for the 2024 West African Secondary School Certificate Examination after weeks of delays due to the government's inability to release funds. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been honored with the prestigious Order of Star of Ghana at the just ended Ghana National Honors and Award Ceremony. Still to come in the bulletin, poster Musa Danko has disclosed that the NPP parliamentary candidate for Domi Kwabena, Michael Quay Jr., will still lose the contentious seat should the EC proceed with the planned rerun. Later in business, Ghana Airport Company Limited has shut down McDown Aviation Private Terminal over 3 million debt owed by the company. On the international front, at least 71 people died in Ethiopia when a truck packed with passengers plunged into a river. Stay with us, we have details of these and more coming up shortly. Welcome to the program once again. I am Eric Chinibuamelo. We're streaming live on YouTube, ABC News Ghana. Let's get interactive. Your thought and opinion will be appreciated. Let's begin with some education matters. And the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has released the provisional result for the 2024 West African Secondary School Certificate Examination after weeks of delays due to the government's inability to release funds. In the press release on Monday, December 30th, the PRO of WAEC, John Kapi, confirmed that the council will provide login details to school heads across the country, enabling them to access the result of the official site. He also warned the public to be cautious of scammers who may exploit the situation by offering fraudulent result upgrades for free. According to WAEC, it has cancelled subject results of 4,108 candidates for bringing foreign materials like prepared note, textbooks and printed materials into the examination halls. Again, the entire result of 483 candidates have also been cancelled for possession of mobile phones in the examination hall. WAEC has also withheld the subject result of 781 and the entire result of 209 candidates for various suspected offences. And we would want to go on the phone and speak to John Kapi, the PRO of WAEC, but we seem to be having some connection issues connecting with him. But as and when production gets hold of John Kapi, who is a PR for WAEC, trust us, we're going to bring you more details on that. Earlier, we brought you reports on our afternoon bulletin where the provisional result of WAEC was released. Now we're gathering information that about more than 700 and over people's results have been cancelled, and day in day out we do record such incidences after the examination. Perhaps John Kapi would have to come out and explain to us what resulted for this huge amount in this recent sitting of the examination, and what even the examination council, the body itself, plans on bringing on board to curb these situations. Now, given that possessions of mobile phones also have become quite some very serious conversation that always exists here and there in the examination, maybe we'd want to understand what accounted for this. But just before we go into the conversation, let me just help you out with the results that was issued by the West African Examination Council. So in the press statement, they said release of provisional result for the West African Senior School Certificate. Just in case you're a parent and you have not seen the report yet, it says that the West African Examination Council wishes to inform its numerous public that it has released provisional results of candidates who sat for WASSCE for School Candidate 2024. The council will make available login details to head of schools to enable them access the result of the candidates. The result has been hosted online, and candidates who also desire for access and their results at the council website www.wayekgh.org, www.wayekgh.org. It goes on to say the council would like to caution all its stakeholders to be wary of fraudsters or fraudulent acts and who promises to upgrade results for free. Candidates are to note that WAEC results are secured and can be authenticated using the results verification system. The WAEC QR code can be downloaded and used to verify results. Again, it brought out some performance statistics which said that a total number of 460,611 candidates made up of 212,959 males and 247,657 females from 103 schools. 1,003 schools, I beg your pardon, entered for the examination. Now, this figure is 2.66% higher than the 2023 entry figure of 448,674, a total number of 4,609, representing 1.0%, were absent also from the examination. The performance of candidates with respect to 4 core subjects is what you see displayed on your screens. So in English, earlier we brought you a report on that. Students that score between A1 to C6 were about 317,701. Again, candidates that secured D7 in English language were 39,542. Grade E candidate for English were 25,294. F9 in English were 26,872. Now in mathematics, the students that scored A1 to C6 were 305,132. Again, candidates that scored D7 were 24,656. Candidates that secured E8 in mathematics were 21,397. For persons or students that secured F9 in mathematics were 27,816. Now, in terms of science, integrated science, candidates who bagged A1 to C6 were 268,072, and grade D7 were 39,640. Again, candidates that had E8 in science was 29,506. Again, in D or F, candidates that had that particular figure were 32,489. Lastly, again on social studies, candidates with A1 to C6 was 326,253. Candidates who backed D7 were 41,174, and candidates with E8 were 29,362, and candidates that bagged F9 was 43,570. The other results will be displayed soon, but let's still stay on some matters of education. And the School Feeding Caterers Association intensified their protest today, picketing the Ministry of Gender over delays in payment for 2 terms. After the demonstration, the association's leader met with officials from the Controller and Accountant General's departments. They were assured that payments would be processed by the close of tomorrow. The association, however, insists it will continue to monitor the situation until promised funds are received.
How far the ministry and the gifts has reached, and I think they confirmed from the ministry, from the deputy minister, he confirmed that by the close of tomorrow.
Which is the fact that Controller and Accountant General's department has no direct contracts. Disbursements are done to the ministries concerned, and we have assured them that even before Christmas, a large chunk of the money has been disbursed to the gender ministry. The controller has been in contact with them and has urged them to at least go ahead and disburse whatever amount has been given to them, meeting the balances that would hit accounts. And I think based on that, the controller also had a telephone conversation with the Deputy Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, who has also given assurance that they have started processes since last Friday, and they are sure that by tomorrow.
The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dakwa Newman, assures Ghana School Feeding Program caterers that their Term 3 salary will begin processing tomorrow following talks with the program's leadership. Let's take a listen to what she said.
Payments for the third term, it should be paid tomorrow, God willing. And so they have come to understand all we've explained to them concerning that outstanding payment, and they welcome the news that tomorrow our caterers will be paid for their third term. Concerning the first term, they just ended the first term, so they are doing their own internal processes at the School Feeding Secretariat to bring it to the ministry for us to also append our signature. And so once that is done, the controller once again will come in to effect and release the monies needed for the first term. So I've spoken to them at least the monies needed.
Away from that, let's do some politics. An executive director of Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, has cast doubt on the chances of the new Patriotic Party candidates in the Dome Kwabenya constituency following the EC's decision to rerun the election in one polling station in constituency. Dome Kwabenya is one of the contentious seats in the 2024 elections that have still yet to be resolved on the issues who won in the elections. Following the contention, the EC decided to recollate the result in the constituency. However, the collation on Saturday, 20th December 2024 ended inconclusively, with the EC not able to verify the results for the Abokobi Women's Development Center 2 polling station. As a result, the EC took the decision to rerun the election, and the pollution, a decision which has been vehemently opposed by the NDC. Reacting to this decision, poster Musa Dankwa stated that the NDC's Elikplim Akrugu will still win the polling station, and consequently the seat is set for the EC goes ahead to conduct the rerun. Let's take a listen.
Exit poll shows that Akrugu indeed won the election in Dome Kwabenya. The exit poll showed that she had 54%. And Michael Quay 46%, according to the exit poll, which confirms the earlier poll and indeed the results of what was announced immediately after the polls in Dome Kwabenya. We understand that recalculation, whatever they call it, meant that Akrugu is now leading with 154 votes, and there are about 600 and something voters in the Abokobi Women's Center, whose results have been nullified because they use a wrong form. For me, I mean, EC has told us that elections are won at the polling station. I don't see why, after people have voted, a mistake by an officer of the Electoral Commissioner using a wrong form should invalidate the results of the elections in that constituency. Did that result reflect the will of the people? If yes, I mean, how should that be nullified? Anyway, let's see who's going to win. Can the MPP overturn 150 vote to win? In theory, yes, NPP would need only 75% or 75 people to switch camp for them to win the election in that electoral area. But we know from record and from the elections that the NDC has a strong advantage in that polling station. Indeed, on the election day, NDC candidate Akrugu won 66% of the vote in that polling station. And if there's going to be a repeat of this election in this constituency or in this electoral area, and for that matter, the polling station, can Michael Quay really overturn 150 deficit and win the election? The answer is no. MPP will lose the election in that constituency. Exit poll shows that Akurubu indeed won the election in Dobe Kobina. The exit poll showed that she had 54% and Mahokwe 46%, according to the exit poll, which confirms the earlier poll and indeed the results of what was announced immediately after the polls in Dobe Kobina. We understand that recalculation, whatever they call it, meant that Akurubu is now leading with 154 votes, and there are about 600 and something voters in the Abukobi Women's Center whose results have been nullified because they use a wrong form. For me, I mean, EC has told us that elections are won at the polling station. I don't see why, after people have voted, a mistake by an officer of the Electoral Commissioner using a wrong form should invalidate.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Director of Election and IT of the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, has reiterated that the National Democratic Congress is not accepting the rerun of the polling station election in the Dome Kwabeyam. Speaking on ABC Midday News, Dr. Rashid Tanko indicated that there won't be any rerun, insisting that there won't be any election. His statement comes after EC stated that the discrepancies in the results in the Abukobi Women's Development Center could change the overall result, hence the need for a rerun.
Affect the people's choice. We are not going to accept it. That's why we are insisting that we want the election. It's not questionable. What is the questionability here? What is the questionability? It's not questionable. They declared the results on the 9th. Including all these 370 polling stations. Then you see they have problem with 3 because soft copies were used. We provided 2 for them. The last one is their own making. It's their own officer who messed up the place. The people came out and voted all right. Voted NDC massively for that place. So why do we have to use the lapses of your own officers to punish a whole polling station, voters, as well as the winner of the place? Why should we suffer it? Why should we suffer that kind of arrangement? We are not accepting that rerun. We have won the election. The people came out and spoke loudly. The Abukobi Women Training Center too. They came out and spoke loudly on December 7th. They voted. There was no overvoting there. Everything went on well. Counting was properly done. Then their own officer, the EC officer, decided to fill a different form. How does that affect us? Why should that one affect the people's choice?
Meanwhile, Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed, said the National Council is not meeting to address any issue, stating that the NPP is not sleeping on this matter. Mr. Mohammed mentioned that the incumbent government is not doing any restructuring, adding that the party has not set up any committee yet.
Look at. So it is too early days yet for us to be discussing these matters when a proper committee has not been constituted to look at those matters. Unfortunately, the MPP is not shocked. Elections has 2 results. Either you win or you lose. And we have lost the election. And we have indicated that we are going to set up a committee or a team to look into it and report back to the party. So it's not entirely true that the assessment you made that we are still in shock. Secondly, when we get to the minority stage and leadership is elected, we'll get to it. This time too, we have been in minority with such a number. In 1992, we didn't even have a minority at all because we were not in parliament. In 1996, we had only just 66 members of parliament. So, and we handled the parliamentary proceedings. Up to today, the 66 members or the 60 or so members that were there are still remembered by history. So we are always the New Patriotic Party, and we will perform wonders in that particular parliament when we get there. We are not sleeping on it. We are not doing any restructuring. We are going to sit down to stage and leadership is elected.
Let's now go on the phone and speak to political scientists at the Kwame Nkrumah University Technical Science and Technology, Dr. Samuel Afriyie. Doc, if you can hear me, good evening. Hello, Doc. Well, unfortunately, I'm told Dr. Samuel Freer. We've got Dr. Samuel Freer on the line, but we'll try again to engage him on the phone to have a conversation on the back of this whole process that the NDC says is not also going to accept any rerun from the Electoral Commission. To them, they feel that their candidates have won the election, and so there's no need for any election again, or I should say any rerun. But we want to also know the implications in terms of analyzing this whole sense that the NDC is trying to make. But asking when Doc is back again, I believe Doc is back on the line. Doc, if you can hear me once again, good evening and welcome to ABC Prime.
Yeah, good evening, and how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thankfully, we have you on the line. But Doc, quickly, let me just ask your thought on this. So the NDC has strongly opposed the rerun of the elections, specifically in some contentious seats like Dome Kwabenya. Now, in your view, why do you think the NDC is quite adamant against this decision? And perhaps could this decision or opposement be a strategy motivated by any fairness in this conversation?
Well, thank you very much, and greetings to your viewers as well. You know, I don't know how this decision was taken. Was it by consultation with the stakeholders, that is from the EC, or I don't know. But if that was the decision, because I think yesterday that is what we got information that they want to rerun the Abokubi polling station, and that is where the issue is. Because if they oppose, I want to know if the right process was done before taking that decision, and is the EC that is in the best position to let us know how this decision was taken. But you know, the NDC, based on the court ruling about the other 4 constituencies for the recollation, is trying to also protect their interest here. Meaning that they think that the EC is trying to have a stiff-handed in that constituency where they thought that it was declared by the EC official. So the NDC is into to ensure that whether they have to ensure that the constituency they have won the constituency and want to protect that.
Doc, for instance, some pollsters also are predicting that the New Patriotic Party, as Michael Quay, will still lose the Dome Kwabenya seat if there's a rerun. But from where you sit, what does that mean for the NPP, especially the historic nature of Dome Kwabenya seat?
Yes, and when you look at the Dome Kwabenya constituency, I think it has been the NPP that has been holding on for a while. Even the last election, they had, I think, 68%, and in 2016, they had about 58%. So for them, I think that, for me, based on how the apathy across board in the whole country resulted in the MPP losing, that's one of the reasons. I don't think, and the seat, again, when the MPP wins, what is it going to add, you know? So the supporters or voters to go and vote for the MPP will be something that will be not expected, because there's nothing at stake from the view of the MPP supporters. And at the same time, the members are so aggrieved to their leadership and also other members of the party for them losing that kind of having that humiliating defeat. So they are in a state of should I say, sadness, and I don't think that they will come out in a kind of way to vote for the MPP, and that is why we are expecting. I think the outcome might not be in favor of the MPP because the NDC here, they are always willing, they are willing, and the enthusiastic from this party, the NDC supporters is there. So I think that I will agree with some pundits about them losing that polling station.
And so, Doc, are we supposed to envision that even if there should be a rerun, the response or the turnout for the rerun for the candidates for Dome Kwabenya, specifically Michael Quay, would not? I mean, the voter turnout will be quite low, right?
Exactly. Yes, that is where we are all foreseeing, and I think it will not be in his favor.
But then again, do you feel that this would have some significant impact on the NPP in general, not just in relation with the Dominic Kwabena seats, but in certain contentious seats, which again the Electoral Commission would have to have either a recollation or a rerun on that particular seat? How is that relatively to affect such seats?
It depends on the situation on the ground. What resulted in the dispute of these results, and that is where it might necessitate the need for us to look at the EC to look at how to. But I always say that the EC needs to always be in a consultative manner with the stakeholders. That is where I always try as much as possible to encourage EC to have consultation with the stakeholders, especially the parties that are involved, so that it will not be that kind of rip always that, oh, I will not be involved, I'm sticking to the court. Sometimes the EC need to accommodate some of these kind of the parties involved. Because if you are not careful, the machinations of people trying to use these kind of recollation as a way to get themselves out from some of these constituencies will be at least will send a signal to us for our next election, where people might use it as a strategy to change constituencies or results.
Before I let you go, you have always advocated for consensus building between these two major political parties. But looking at how things are going, even today we did engage the NDC's Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Rashid Tanko, who says, look, we are not going to allow our candidates to contest for any rerun. But looking at what you also have suggested earlier, it looks like it's not going to yield any result. Should there even be consensus building between these two parties?
Yes, I think that I also have in my humble view to also encourage the NDC to also sometimes look at it in a certain way so that it will not be, because I got an information that the NDC is threatening the electoral officers there, even though I might not have an paper, but that is the news. That is what we got. So I think that the NDC should sometimes also come down, because the election you have won, you have majority, but for them, they think that sometimes they might, the EC want to change their results or whatever. That is their mindset. So I think that they should also try to engage and understand and help things in an amicable way than trying to use hard way in response to EC decision. So, but I think EC always need to ensure that they build consensus with these stakeholders, so that at least we can have a peaceful, because it has been a trend that is bothering us for a while. These few 9 constituencies, always every day, this here and there. It's unfortunate. And I think for this one, the EC and the Ghana police did not handle this very well for all of us to have a peaceful closure of 2024 general election.
Doc, when you say the candidate should, still negotiate or what you call it, come to an agreement, then again, I want to ask, is it that, would you suggest that either a candidate concede defeat in this situation, so the amicable manner that you talk of will see daylight, or perhaps, I mean, if this should continue, it means that we're actually going to drag this conversation till whoever tries to prolong the conversation?
No, not in that view of someone conceding defeat. I don't know, I'm not into these kind of problems, but I know that when someone is dying, and is in the sea, and let's say has been in the sea, and you want to pick that person out, if you're not careful, they can also get you drowned. So, in a way, I think I'm not looking at the defeat, but people should be discerning enough, candidates should be discerning enough, and look at the data, look at the results, and if there's a need for them to concede defeat, good. If there's no, and you think that the issue needs to go in another way, I believe in talking. I believe in trying to make a case and trying to convince others to be part of it so that we bring it to an end. That is what I believe in. So it's not about you conceding defeat, but if defeat is glaring in your face, you have to accept it. and rather than trying to be stiff-handed, trying to waste our time for these consequences.
Doc, we're grateful for your time this evening. We have been speaking to Dr. Samuel Afriyie. He is a political scientist. On the back of this conversation, we'll engage him more in subsequent bulletin. But you're still watching ABC News Prime on our platform. You also stream it live on YouTube, ABC News Ghana. Let us know what you think about the stories, and also your thought and opinion will be welcome. Let's move on with some more stories. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has been honored with the prestigious Order of Star of Ghana Officer Award at the 2024 Ghana National Honors and Award Ceremony. The award, presented by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, recognized Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's exceptional service, dedication, and contribution to national development. Held at the Accra International Conference Center, the ceremony celebrated outstanding Ghanaians and institutions across various sectors for their unwavering commitment to advancing the nation's progress. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, widely lauded for his leadership and economic expertise, was acknowledged as key figure in shaping Ghana's economic policies and spearheading digital transformation initiatives.
You have been a steadfast advocate for religious tolerance and national unity, exemplifying leadership that transcends divisions and promotes harmony among Ghanaians. Dedication to building a society rooted in inclusivity and progress has endeared your citizens across this nation.
Still on the honors, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has urged recipients of this year's National Honors and Awards and Presidential Honors for distinguished service to use their recognition as a catalyst for further accomplishment. Speaking at the Accra International Conference Center, he described the honorees as symbols of triumph over adversity, service over self, and hope over despair. They highlighted the outstanding contributions of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, whose leadership in digital transformation has modernized Ghana's economy and strengthened its resilience. Other individuals recognized included Dr. Ernest Addison for his role in steering the financial sector during challenging times, Professor Achutri for his impact on education, and creatives like COVID, who have showcased Ghana's cultural richness on the global stages. The president also paid tribute to post-mortems awardees, including Marcus Garvey, whose Pan-African ideals continue to inspire unity and self-determination among Africans worldwide. The ceremony also recognized institutions such as the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Immigration Service, and the Ghana Academy of Art and Sciences, whose teamwork and dedication reflect the nation's collective spirit. Looking to the future, the president called on Ghanaians to contribute towards building a nation, quoting, where every child has a future, every worker has dignity, and every citizen has a voice, unquote. He stressed that the achievements celebrated today serve as foundation for Ghana's ambitious reforms in governance, education, and industry as the country progresses towards self-reliance. Now, away from that, with just a few hours to 2025, ABC News Ghana wants to understand what has been the highlight of most Ghanaians in the year 2024, from economic, political to social issues. Some Ghanaians have shared their 2024 highlights, and let's take a listen at that.
I think basically politics will dominate, because when we look at some of the decisions that were made this year, I look at things like the National Cathedral, because recently, yesterday or 3 days today, I heard in the news that the freshers postponed their opening dates. And when you look at the amount of money we spent on other issues like the National Cathedral, such monies could have been used to pay WAEC so that they mark the students' grade, the SHS students, so that they can go back to school. No, they were supposed to resume in November or so, but they couldn't come because of lack of funds. They don't have money to mark the papers or purchase equipment or pay their staff to do whatever is needed for them to release the results.
This country, the only thing is we are just facing one problem that I don't think I'm the only one facing certain. When we look at the country now, very tough for us, and in fact, things are not moving on as we were expecting. Especially our leaders are not helping us at all. The economy is very hard, to be honest with you. Even just look at this betting thing, this tax that they are putting on bets. In fact, it's not helping us. To be honest with you, it's not helping us because even there's no job in the country, and even the bet itself, pastors are even doing it. And as a leader, when you tell us that you are putting, how do you call it, tax and stuff on betting, in fact, you are killing the youth.
Nanado promised a lot. The promises he made all came faulty. Not all, but most of them came faulty. Because I'm very disappointed that for him destroying the polyclinic, which we all attend to special medications and all. And he dismantled. He said he's coming to do never trade fair. Now that is going on, and we only doubt how many days, how many years it will take us. Trade fair was going on. Everything came forth. The free education that he promised, he made it clear, but it wasn't free education. Because I can see there's Ghana, there's no anything that is free.
The MPs around should try their best to do something better in the town. Like, we all try to vote for them, to contribute to add it up to them. We all voted for them so that we can select something best out in the town. So I think they should try their best and do something. But anything that goes on, we are still in the country. Because no matter what, we will still be in the country. I don't see them doing anything best or better in the country. To my side, I don't see them doing anything best or better for me. But no matter what we still do, they are still our president and we are still inside like that.
When I look at the year under review, I think basically politics will dominate. Because when we look at some of the decisions that were made this year, I look at things like the National Cathedral. Because recently, yesterday or 3 days today, I heard in the news that AUNST, the freshers, postponed their opening dates. And when you look at the amount of money we spent on other issues like the National Cathedral, such monies could have been used to pay WAEC so that they mark the students' grade, the SHS students, so that they can go back to school. No, they were supposed to resume in November or so, but they couldn't come because of lack of funds.
During the festive season, head pastor of Executive Community Church, Reverend Dr. E.T. Frimpong, has cautioned Ghanaians to be wary of 31st night prophecies, indicating that some of the prophecies are not genuine. According to him, about 80% of crossover prophecies are not from God. He says most prophets see 31st night service as an avenue to get the public attention with controversial prophecies. He spoke earlier on ABC in the morning.
Who are going to assume the place of the prophetic or try to use some cunning ways to deceive people into thinking that God has spoken or God is speaking, which sometimes is not exactly true. So all these other voices that we hear and we see, we have the ones that are good, we have the ones that are bad, but the Bible clearly gives us distinctions on the differences, and then he also tells us to know the ones that are from God, how we can be able to decipher or know which one is from God and which one is not from God. And so when prophecies come, we measure it in accordance with the word of God, because anything that is outside the will of God or the word of God is definitely not from God. So that's one of the ways we know that this word is from God. People who are going to assume the place of the prophetic or try to use some cunning ways to deceive people into thinking that God has spoken or God is speaking, which sometimes
On the back of this, ABC News Ghana took to the street of Accra, and some Ghanaians have expressed mixed feelings about the trueness of 31st night prophecies. While some believe these prophecies reflect the will of God, others vehemently threw them into the wind.
What our opinion is on say, so we and church or Bible no more. And the prophecies now, South of one ban name mana. Me to me, dear. Me said that and as of one India because never be to set tight, ne juices be a treat your salon. Me, say, be as a maybe a Juma, so I say, and I say, you shall 10,000 Ghana cedis. To me, I'm just saying, meet me 1,000 cedis, send me the cockroach tight. Yes, I now I say, it's here and brown Yankopon or dear baby, or it's here and brown in him. It's nice, I ask my queer bonnet. Oh, it's also for now, but on the GDA said then you move.
Imagine the professor, myself for 1 year on the 31st night next day. Sometimes ne bet my no credit on the almost say you be babu on betiniaka. By na yasum nyame. Ye nim de nyame me ama your kind name be. It's 50-50 in interest or money now or money pastors. Obukani na onyame sem. Nsini abemuno ni na onyame sem. Acha test ni nyame pebiara. I said, the Macan or the man in Mamma, Rebecca. Long as all who can what you do when Mamma sound you want. And I will say, Yampa, says things. And it's all over now, sorry, and they are open long as all who they are cost for her. No, so I will catch be said. Say anything, I'm sorry, yes, we are saying this amount of. Imagine for all professors are pastors at the end of the year and say, you see. Pastors no they can bet me up prophesy and at the end of the year bet me up prophesy every time, but why is it that
Well, some Ghanaians expressing their opinions about what 31st night means to them. But you also, as a Christian, tomorrow being 31st, what are your plans for 31st night? Are you going to usher yourself for the next year? Or perhaps you also cannot be bothered about what 31st means to you? Let's know what you think about it in our comment section on YouTube. We'll be back also with some business news. Do stay. In business, management of the Airport Company Limited has shut down the Magdan Aviation private jet terminal due to an outstanding debt owed by, over $3 million. The debt, which includes land leases, rentals, and terminal charges accumulated over a period, was not cleared despite being given until Christmas to settle the amount. This marks the second time Magdan Aviation has faced such a shutdown. In February 2022, the Ghana Airport Company Limited indefinitely barred Magdan Aviation from operating its private jet services at Terminal 1 of Kotoka International Airport following operational breaches. This move comes after Magdan launched its private jet services at the airport despite not meeting the required terms and conditions set by the airport authorities. The chairman of the Ghana Airports Company Divisional Union of the Public Service Workers Union of TUC, Alhaji Abdul Isaka Bamba, in a recent interview said the outstanding debt is long overdue, and Mr. Bamba expressed the union's support for the management's decision to shut down the terminal and warned that any other partner owing the company would face similar consequences. And we are being joined on phone by the chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Divisional Union of the Public Service Workers Union, and I believe we're not still getting him, but as soon as we get him on the phone, we'll try to establish some conversations with him. News coming in indicates that the Ghana Airport Company Limited.
We got to know that the company has been shut down this morning by Managing Director of the Ghana Airport Company, Madam Yvonne. And we believe it is because of the indebtedness of Magdan to GACL. And efforts have been put in place. Managing Director wrote several letters
from the beginning of this year up to date, no payment was being made. I believe out of frustration, she decided to shut the place down. And you are asking why we support? Yes, we support, because we are the workers, and it is our toil, it is our money that he is keeping. In fact, as it stands now, management is even struggling to pay some of the financial obligations that the company has over the general staff. Management is struggling to pay. So why is it that somebody will be owing, not paying, and staff will be suffering? That is why we will support the managing director in this action. I believe you are talking to staff leadership. We did not close the company. It is closed by the managing director, and we are only telling you we are supporting the managing director in this course. So if you want to talk about witch hunting, then maybe you want to say managing director is witch hunting McDonald, but not us. We are staff, we are workers, and we are saying anybody who is owing us will come after the person. The managing director have started with McDonald, and we are supporting her in this regard, and we are saying all other people that are owing will come after them.
Joining us on phone is the chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Divisional Union of Public Service Workers Union of TUC, Alhaji Abdul Isaka. Mr. Alhaji, if you can hear me, good evening. Hello, Mr. Abdul. Alhaji, good evening. Well, looks like we're still not able to get contact with Alhaji. But once again, Alhaji, finally, good evening. If you can hear me. Well, unfortunately, I'm told we cannot get into contact with Alhaji. But we'll try again, maybe in subsequent bulletin, to better understand what this conversation really is about and what the union also would have to respond to this. We know that this is not the first time such a ban is been given to the business mogul, but what is the latest, what is accounting for the latest, I mean, and Alhaji wants our resource person to have a conversation on the back of this, but we'll do that again in subsequent bulletin. But you're still watching ABC News, ABC Prime. I am Eric Chinibwa Melo, and we're back with some sports news Tuesday. In sport, AC Milan has appointed Sergio Conceição as the new head coach, replacing Paulo Fonseca, who was sacked after a poor run of results left the team 18 in the Serie A table and 12th in the Champions League table. Conceição, 50, has signed a 1.5-year deal with the Rossoneri, and while he will also be charged with his first match on January 3 against Juventus in the Italian Super Cup semi-finals, where he will face his son Francisco. Conceição brings a wealth of experience to role, having managed Inter Milan, Lazio and Parma before winning 11 trophies with FC Porto in 6 years. With Conceição's capture, he will also be expected to turn around the fortunes of the 7-time European champions and propel them back up to the Serie A table. And in more sports news, Spanish giant Barcelona remain keen on signing Ghana international Thomas Partey, whose contract with Arsenal is set to expire at the end of the season. Despite his impressive performances this season, Arsenal has yet to finalize a new deal for Partey. As a result, he will be eligible to negotiate with other clubs starting January 1, 2025. Barcelona's sporting director, Denko, has also for long been an admirer of the Ghanaian midfielder and may make a move for him in the summer. Partey joined Arsenal in 2020 after the club activated a €45 million release clause from Atletico Madrid. Since then, he has been a vital part of Mikel Arteta's midfield, making 137 appearances, scoring 7 goals and providing 5 assists. Away from sports, we're back with some international updates. At least 71 people died in Ethiopia when a truck packed with passengers plunged in a river, according to the spokesperson for the Southern Sidma regional government and statement. The accident occurred in the Bona district, the Regional Communications Bureau said in a statement issued late on Sunday. At least 71 people had died, including 68 males and 3 females. In a statement late on Sunday, the Regional Communications Bureau had given the death toll as 60. The spokesperson said the truck had missed a bridge and fell into a river and that the road had many bends. Some of the passengers were returning from a wedding ceremony and some families had lost multiple members, he said, adding that traffic police in the region had reported the truck overloaded, which likely caused the accident. Deadly traffic accidents are common in Ethiopia, where driving standards are poor and many vehicles badly maintained. Quite a sad situation over there, but let's bring you some entertainment news after this Tuesday. In entertainment, Ghanaian Afrobeat star Kevin Boy has accused his former mentor, Stonebwoy, of employing mafia tactics to sabotage his career. In a heated post on X, formerly Twitter, today the down-flat hitmaker lamented that Stonebwoy's actions have tarnished his image and turned many Ghanaians against him, making his rise in the music industry challenging. Now, quoting exactly what he said, "What exactly do you want from me, nigga? You have defamed me, turned majority of Ghanaians against me because you're a saint and can never do wrong. I know they fit rise to the heights and I forday mainly because of your mafia tactics, but grace they speak for me regardless," Kevin Boy wrote. Now, Kevin's outburst follows recent comments by Stonebwoy, who suggested that his life was at risk while working with Kevin Boy and the Benetton Music Group in 2018, leading to their split. That's all for entertainment, but before we go, let's go back to our earlier conversation in business, and we told you that we want to have a conversation on the back of the latest development with the Ghana Airports Company Limited having to ban the business mogul, Magdan, and we have been joined on the phone by Mr. Alhaji Abdul Isaka. If you can hear me, sir, once again, good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
So, first of all, Magdan Aviation has, as we know, for confirmation's sake, has denied that, they owe the Ghana Airport Company Limited some 3 million, stating that about just 2 million of the amount is payment for the land and is bought from the Ghana Airport Company Limited. So, which is currently under litigation. Is there any truth to that?
Well, Magdan is owing way over $3 million to Ghana Airport Company. Now, if you're talking about the land, and he is saying it is under litigation, but he is operating business on the land. Now, if it is that it's being litigated, why is he doing business and making money? And when you are making money, then you should be able to pay. So I think he should confirm whether there's business going on that land or not. I think that is important.
We know that this is not the first time, the first case that the company is having with Magdan. What again is the issue aside from the substantive issue that you have mentioned? Is it the fact that the business mogul really is not complying with certain conditions of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, or there's more conversations that needs to be addressed?
Well, I don't know of any other conversation other than what you put out there, that out of frustration from the managing director trying to retrieve the monies Magdan owed to the company, they decide to close the place as a way of compelling him to make payment. It's as simple as that. I don't know of any other.
And is the company not showing interest in paying back its debts?
I guess if he was showing interest to pay, managing director wouldn't have closed the place.
But Alhaji, how long would this hold the shutdown against the company?
Well, as you know, we are supporting the managing director for closing the company until payment is done. And I believe it's a business institution. This business-to-business transaction. I believe if substantive amount is paid and payment plan is drawn, a managing director and her team understood it and trust it, maybe they may resume business.
So what is going to be the next approach here?
Well, as it stands, we are workers and we are supporting the managing director for taking the steps to retrieve the monies owed by the company. Why? Because we know the management are even struggling to offset some financial obligations that they owe even staff, which has a long way to affect even staff's pension. So when we know that a managing director is taking these steps to claim money that are owed the company, we will support the managing director 100%, and that is exactly what we are doing. We are not managers of the place, but we are supporting because we are the workers, and every indebtedness to the company affects our daily lives and it goes into our pension. That is where we support the managing director in the action she's taking. Now, you ask me in the future, we are just using this opportunity to serve notice to all other institutions that owe the company are not ready to pay. They should be ready, that will come after them. One typical example is the CIP. CIP, we still don't have clarity as to what it is there for. We were told the last time we demanded answers that it was being operated by national security. We still don't understand how that arrangement can be. How true that can be, we don't know. CIP is another area we are looking at, and they must watch the space.
Alhaji, just as you've mentioned, I wanted to ask you that question. Just as you said that other companies owing, the Ghana Airport Company Limited will face similar consequences, and you have mentioned the CIP. So, in this case, what measures are you taking to secure, or I should say, gain back the monies that these organizations owe the company?
Well, after this, at appropriate time, we will seek audience from the managing director and her team and take note of what effort they are making. Then we can make input.
But don't you also think that perhaps for instance, Magdan should be given some time to be able to settle the debt, or they haven't enough time given to him already?
I guess enough time has been given. As I was telling you, I have information that as far back as July, letters were being sent to him demanding that, hey, come and settle your obligation. No attempt was made since then until today. So what more should anybody do? If you are in the managing director's shoe, what will you do? It is in this spirit we are supporting the managing director in this action. Because from July up to date, in fact, I can tell you that the whole 2024, he made no payment. That I can tell you that. Until recently, that if he's saying what we are saying, it's not. Until recently, the way that he said, if you are owing somebody over $3 million, and they wrote to you and you made payment of 3 cedis. Seriously, is that not an insult?
Alhaji, we are grateful for your time this evening. Unfortunately, this whole time would allow this evening for the conversation. We're grateful.
Thank you.
We have been speaking to Alhaji Abdul Isaka Bamba. He's the Divisional Union of the Public Service Workers over there. Once again, Alhaji, we're grateful. But that's all for tonight, this evening on ABC Prime. Once again, we're grateful that you made time for us. I am Eric Chinibwa Melo. Do well to catch us again tomorrow at 12 and at 6. The news team will be back with some compelling stories. Do have a good evening.